Okay, so I've been talking about spiritual warfare, and I just want to let people know that it's not just people you don't know. Like you don't know where it's coming from, or whatever. And in fact, it's usually from the places you least expected, the people you least expect. So I was dating this guy, and the relationship was basically just a casual relationship or whatever, and it was working out for me. So when I decided that this wasn't what I was looking for and moved on, that's when I started noticing all the um but that's when I started noticing. Now I've been under spiritual warfare for years, but this is when I really started my awakening and started on my spiritual journey. So what was happening was, you know I'd be getting just feelings of being watched all the time. And it was just, one thing after the other with him. First, it was um, like when we first broke up, I have say I still saw him like in random places, like he'd, come to the like places where I worked and stuff like that. And say I'd be talking about something, like he'd say something that I know I didn't say, and I was like, like what do you mean? And and he'd be like, oh, I must have heard that from your son. And it was something where no, that son that comes into the store regularly like that. No, I didn't say that in front of him. So it was just unusual things, like he had my phone tapped or some kind of cell jammer in it, whereas he can control like what calls I was receiving and what when I was placing calls, like it would look to me just like somebody wasn't answering the phone, but really he was like jamming the signal or something. He also had my because my one of my sons that worked with me, he because our Wi-Fi, what he did was he hacked into our Wi-Fi, our home Wi-Fi. And when Justin, I'd call him and I'd be like, how come you didn't answer the phone? And he'd say, I don't know, my phone was on, I didn't see it. So when I, used my head and just took his phone off of the Wi-Fi and put it onto like another Wi-Fi, like the Wi-Fi at work, all of a sudden all the messages started popping up. That's how I knew his phone was in. I was like, and that's how I figured out my Wi-Fi was hacked. And it was just like other stuff that he was doing. Like what he didn't realize is I knew that he had got married to somebody else, but he was still trying to act like I don't know if he just didn't want me to know, or like he was trying to act like he didn't, he wasn't seeing anybody else. He was still trying to say like he just worked so much and everything, just constant lies and everything. He actually used one of my family members that's close to me to get some information on me. And, that's how he used that to do like other stuff. Like he had stolen a property from me, that was like part of my inheritance, had stolen some, funds that were supposed to come to me, and just like stuff over and over and over. And like I said, this guy seemed just like a regular guy. He had a good job. You would have never thought that he was like really into the occult like that. And he even mentioned like he was spiritual, like as far as believing in God and everything like that. He might have been spiritual, but he was like a warlock type. And then what I later found out that his family members also, like his mom, his sister, they were helping him, and they were also getting tarot readings done on me, and this was how they knew, that I was coming into the inheritance and everything, and that's how they ended up, getting that before I could get hold of it, and just kept trying to do spell work on me and kept doing, and after like when I left, that was it. I didn't, I didn't look back. Like I said, I was on my journey, and I'm just, because I didn't know all this right away at the time. It was just like gradually as my spiritual, gifts started coming into play, and I started getting visions and dreams, when I was sleeping. And then like I said, with his own comments that he would make, and I'd be like, how do you know that? When, and it was like a friend of mine had, he was like called me a couple of times, and he's like, well, I called you. And I'm like, no, and I'm like, I called you. And that's how we started seeing that the phones were tapped and the phones were jammed. And it was just really crazy. And like I said, I'm just bringing this up to let you know that, you never know who it is. And he's still like, even up to a few days ago, actually still put in a call to me. And, he had texted me like a week ago. And I'm just like, give it up already. I know it's you sending these attacks. I know. In fact, like I said he was a warlock, and I'm not sure how advanced he is, but I know his family members are into it. I know they were getting readings on me, and this was how he knew about my inheritance and all that, and that's how he was able to obtain that. But he must be able to do something because, like I said, I've had dreams where it's not even like a dream of him. It's like a photo, like the still picture, and it's the same every time you have the dream. It's the same thing, and I'm like, how is that? So it's something like he can either transport, how you can astral project. It's something like that he's able to do, but he's constantly like sending attacks. And like one night he kept it up like all night, like literally just one time after the other time, and after after the next and after the next. And like I said before, you just have to say prayers, and you just have to be vigilant, because I have, fallen asleep a couple of times where I haven't been able to be awake and say some prayers and, catch the attack. And when you feel those spells, it's almost debilitating. Like your judgment is clouded, and you start looking at the walls. It looks like the walls are, I guess, this is to kind of make you go crazy. And because the first time it happened to me, I was just like, what in the world is going on? And I'm looking around, and you feel confused. And so if you feel any type of inkling, if you hear anything, like, get up. That's what I suggest. Get up and immediately start praying. And just never think, oh, this person isn't, because it could be the person you least likely expect.